Peace and love. This is the emerging Dr. Trav, marriage and family therapy. I consider myself a relationship strategist and architect. Um, someone that is not just gonna, hold these analyzing concepts of what you are and how you came to be and how you come to this relationship or how are you going to now respond. Although some historical background on people is probably necessary, but I want to focus on um, the future goals of where you want to be, where you envision yourself to be in a relationship. Um, Early in my own marriage, I didn't have that type of where you want to be as a person emotionally, and even what those um, skills were to be and to show up in your marriage, how that looked like, and what that vision could be. So there are many roadblocks. There were many barriers that I created because unconsciously I'm just acting on what you see and some of your own, of course, behavioral patterns that you adopt over a period of time. And of course, like all the talk about the idea that those behavior patterns will affect, and some people call them healing and all this. We do have some adverse experiences that affect people. Yeah, it's very serious stuff. But at the same time, I'm thinking we have these weak communications uh, barriers of anxiety, um, and it creates this distance between yourself and the person that you were trying to establish this love relationship with or this marriage with. It's just like because we get stuck in our anxiety and communication. I mean, actually get trapped in an endless cycle of what a person did wrong, um, why they're not showing up, and these old ideas of conflict. Even if you are just dating, if you had conflict, you had these adverse experiences, you're trying to mirror those same things in other people. Um, and you're not because you don't know what else to do to to break that cycle, to bring down the barriers. So through this year that I've been studying, um, and going into the second year, saw the some of the traditional therapeutic methods. Um, yeah, they do spend time with the individual or the couple when they're needing to execute some deconstruction of what are their worst moments. I mean, it's just what it is. Sometimes that is necessary. Um, and you can see people going through these painful arguments. And that's one of the things I didn't want to do is like, because I remember when I was with my wife and we went to therapy this one time, it was some years ago. I think it was during the pandemic. It was either during the pandemic, but it was at that time because people were just flocking on to therapy because it was tough. Um, and I remember leaving that one of these sessions with this woman, and we argued the entire time going home. Um, so that is more hurtful to our relationship. That became more hurtful. Um, uh, and we had a divide. She thought it was good, and I didn't think it was good. And I even questioned, how would you think it's good when there was conflict after? Then how is that showing up good for yourself, and how is that good for me if we're in conflict after we go to therapy? And I think maybe now see me we were say and think back like, oh man, maybe that wasn't as good because why? What's good for your spouse is probably going to be helpful for you. Like if you are not showing up for your spouse or the people you love, and they're experiencing discomfort, how is that helping you? Like we don't do that to our friends, so why would we do that with our spouses? So what I want to do is get away from that type of pointing the fingers, because we can get in a cycle of that, and that can continue forever. And we want to walk away with feeling that we're together as a team. We're together in this journey where we're trying to establish this love bond, right? And you know, as a what I would say, I'm reluctant to say this, but a relationship strategist, a relationship architect, trying to help people build and design um, healthier relationships, or the way to even, if you're not married yet, you can show up as a thorough person where you're not going to feel that being vulnerable is somehow being a victim, but it is empowering, and that you are making choices that are healthy for you, and you can show up in a good way where you're not struggling personally with yourself because you're trying to have this barrier, because you're trying to protect yourself. So it's important that for me to, I thought it was important that, once I'm in this journey, to be able to share some of these clear pathway forward. And what I'm considering, and, as I'm learned, is that, some of the models that I was more attracted to, more aligned with early early on in my study. So I mean, you can never get like stuck in one thing, because each time you're always engrossed with other methodologies that may fit a certain way, or a certain population. So it's like, this future focus framework that I'm attracted to, because it aligns with the way I look at, like, being an athlete. We're always focused on basically a championship mindset, looking forward. And we don't get tied up into the shot that we missed. They even say you got to have a short-term memory to your flaws, and you got to move forward, because you have to have the confidence to be able to move forward to be successful. And that's the type of future focus framework that I want to bring into the relationship world, and to how we date, how we're looking towards selecting a mate, selecting a partner, and then how we sustain our relationships once we are married. Um, the constant looking forward, how to get better once you are married. It's just a way to provide solutions so we can move forward past this idealistic romance that we have, and empower, like, how we get into the romance of relationships, like this knight in shining armor, um or I'm waiting for this person to do this, or I'm going to do this for the family because I'm a man. All these false concepts that we have, and influencing us in our decision making, instead of on real, what you would say, practical relationship designs that are based off of interpersonal skills that science, this is the science, has proven that we need. And when you have these simple things, as being warm towards one another, being nice and kind towards one another, how that would change the outcomes of a relationship. So that's what I want to do, to create this community of, forward thinking when it comes to our relationships. So, you know, I want you to comment architect below and tell me, what is the number one communication goal that you can achieve with either your partner, your spouse, or significant other this year? Like, what is the number one communication goal? Um, and, and let me know in the comments what you think, and stay tuned for more skill building, more practical relationship designs. Peace.